Hey guys, welcome back to my vlog. So, in my previous video, I mentioned that I was gonna attend my very first acrylic painting class, and I've talked in length about why I wanted to do that and everything. So, if you haven't checked my previous video, please do so, so you'll have a bit more of a context of what I'm actually trying to do here. For you guys who don't know me, hi, my name is Louis Biono. I am a professional artist. I've been a commercial graphic designer slash illustrator for the past 3 decades. I am currently working at Pixton Comics, a Canadian edutech company, as the lead illustrator. And I also run Whimsy Tales. Whimsy Tales is basically a passion project for me. Um, it's where I get to experiment a lot of different things when it comes to drawing. And through Whimsy Tales, I've created plenty of different style coloring books. So if you're into coloring books, please go and check that out. And apparently, I'm also bored because I feel like I want to pursue something more so that I can grow my art. And this happens to be um, the world of fine art. I am intrigued. That's why I decided to learn traditional acrylic painting. In this video, I want to report back to you on how the class went. And by the end of this video, I will reveal my very first traditional acrylic painting based on all the things that I learned from the class. So, yeah, please make yourself comfortable. Uh, Grab a cup of coffee or tea, or even just a glass of water. Sit back, relax, and yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, story time. Um, so, the class. I went to the studio where the class was held. The the studio was gorgeous. This place was located in a very breathtaking place. It's a quaint small studio located just a little bit to the side of the artist's house, and it's overlooking the ocean. And unfortunately, it was raining so hard. It was pouring, and it was a bit difficult to stay dry when you uh, try to walk from the driveway from the car to the studio. Uh, but I was lucky because all the tools, everything like the canvas, the paints, and everything was still sealed in plastics because I just bought them all brand new. So yeah, those were fine. I got a little bit wet though. I mean, the studio itself is really cozy and warm. Um, so it was good. And we there were only 4 people attending this class, including me. And believe it or not, even though I'm almost 50, I was the youngest there. Most of them were retirees, and I think most of them, yep, all of them have had some kind of like experience in traditional painting. So I was like the only total beginner when it comes to traditional painting. So yeah, we introduced ourselves, and the teacher started by explaining a little bit about acrylics, how to prep things. She talked a little bit about canvases and paints and how to mix them and just some of the basic stuffs. And then after we got set up, she started um, giving us our very first task, which was to create a painting based on a picture of a painting. Yeah, let me say that again. She wanted us to replicate a painting based on a picture or a photo of another acrylic painting. So it's almost like an a painting study. Um, the the artwork that she showed us was an acrylic painting piece by a Canadian artist, Tom Thomson, and it was a landscape acrylic painting called, I think it was Pine Trees at Sunset. It was a gorgeous painting. It was expressive, and she showed us how the layering of colors works and everything. And then she handed out these printouts of the painting so that we have a reference image, right? The only problem was the handouts, the printed handouts was a bit faded. So um, I personally couldn't see most of the details. I mean, the colors were there, but it was so faded. Um, anyway, I mean, she gave us a little bit of demo of painting, how to create the very first, excuse me, how to create the very first layers, the background layers, the base colors, and then she started by doing the sky and then the trees and etc. And she let us do our own thing, and I think it was great because she doesn't have like a very structured teaching method, but she told us to uh, to always ask her question if there's something that we don't understand or want to learn more. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed because um, we were trying to replicate a painting instead of um, exploring other stuff like maybe still life or just uh, something else, But I totally understand. I mean, it's really was the basic, so we had to start somewhere, right? And when I was trying to do the painting, I realized, at least for me personally, um, I've I just found it really challenging for me, um, because when I tried to replicate the painting, I could clearly visualize vividly in my head how I wanted to do this. But because my painting skill is not there yet, it's really hard to transfer whatever things that I have in mind to the canvas. It's totally different, and it's funny because coming from a digital uh, art background, I could see myself painting um, this thing very easily, and for instance in Procreate or Photoshop, right? Now I also want to mention that we only had 5 different paint colors um, to create the painting, because it was intentional, because it was in our shopping list. So we only had to work with um, red, yellow, white, blue, and black. And I thought it was impossible, but apparently she chose this exact painting by Tom Thomson because she was positive that we can replicate that painting just by using these 5 colors. We got about 1.5 hour to finish the painting. I mean, it's a small canvas, right? It's 8 by 10 inches. And funny thing is, it's hard not to judge myself because when I'm done with the painting, I looked at it and I thought, man, this is crap. The big reveal. Gonna show you. The very first traditional acrylic painting that I've ever done in my life. Yay. Uh, to be honest, guys, I'm not proud of this one. Well, at least not yet. I see it as being an unfinished piece of art. So, and there's so many things that I want to do to actually finish it. So, here's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm going to paint over this painting. I Sure, I think I'm still going to use Tom Thomson's original painting as a reference, but I want to try different things. I want to practice. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the art shop. I want to buy a couple more paints. I want to buy uh, a couple more brush sets because the ones that I have right now is crap. I just want to paint a little bit more. I want to create new layers and see what I can come up with. And hopefully, by doing that, I could practice a little bit more techniques and I'll be satisfied more with the result. I mean, what's there to lose, right? If I still don't like the final result, I can always repaint over. Um, I can always do an abstract painting, for instance, right? So, hey, let's go and try and see. And I want to take you guys on this journey with me in fixing this painting into something more, at least visually interesting for me. Uh, and whether it's going to be a failure or a success, you guys will be my witness. So, yeah, I'll do just that. And I'll see you guys soon. All right, I think that's a wrap. I've finished the painting. I've done what I could, and here's the result. I'm gonna show you some close-ups later, but yeah, To be honest, though, I'm still not satisfied with the result, but I learned quite a lot by doing this practice. And there are a couple of things that I want to share with you um, based on doing this painting. Um, so I think first one, it's really limiting if you're trying to do um, an expressive kind of painting, which I really like. Using even medium brush like this. I've been using this one brush about 90% of the time while painting this one. And I think I did that intentionally just because I want to be able to um, create uh, a, a dynamic brushstrokes. Um, but because of the smaller canvas size, um, it wasn't really working. Um, so that's the first thing that I learned from doing this practice. Number two, I realized that I don't really enjoy replicating other painting. And I think I will even go further than that. I don't think that I would enjoy painting by copying. Not necessarily copying, like um, I want to try to paint something without any reference. I know that sounds odd, but again, coming from a professional illustrator background, I've spent most of my life um, drawing from references, right? So one of the reason that I want to pivot, that I want to explore painting is just because I want to try to paint things more loosely. Um, so yeah, so I think in my next practice that I want to do later on today, you know what? I want to try um, to paint something abstract, something more surreal. Um, and I want to do this intuitively. So I think that's going to be interesting. But that's going to be covered in my next video. So, yeah. Point number three, I think I still find it difficult to turn off my illustrator brain whenever I paint. Um, and it's particularly hard for me in this first exercise because this exercise requires me to replicate another painting, which I believe that other painting was actually based on a real landscape, right? So whenever I try to be playful with colors, with composition, with brushstrokes, my illustrator brain just wouldn't let me because the landscape is a bit realistic. Whenever I want to do something um, a bit random, what was going on in my mind, it was saying something like, "Hey, stop doing that because it won't look real, right? You shouldn't have another point of a perspective, or you shouldn't add shading here because the light source is over there." That kind of stuff. So that is why I think if I want to be playful in my paintings, I think next time it's better for me, at least, to try to paint from nothing. I shouldn't use any uh, references, not even real life reference. That way I can be a lot more playful because um, I don't want my illustrator brain to keep bothering me with, you know, all these rules, right? So, but again, this is for me personally. That's why I think my next exercise that I want to try, I want to do abstract. Um, yeah. Okay, guys, now that we're reaching the end of this video, just a little bit of recap. So the first class that I attended, the acrylic painting class, was great. I learned a lot of things. Um, and even though my very first acrylic painting, I wasn't really that proud, but at least I learned a lot. That was the first class, and I have this upcoming class next weekend, and I hope I will learn even more. Yeah, and I think in between, before attending my second class, I will try to do another painting by myself. Just try to explore a couple of different things. I want this to be more experimental. That's why I think I'm going to do an abstract one, an abstract painting. So yeah, if you guys have been enjoying the series, please don't forget to follow me, subscribe to my channel, and click that bell button so that you can get notified every time I post a videos like this. Yeah, thank you guys for joining in, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.